to the senior category. Senior X30 qualifying heat B versus G.
Before the rain came down. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. For a moment there were problems for Andy Rattel, but he's got going. Let's take you through the grid.
Indeed. Andy Rattel starting this one on the front row of the grid. Marcus Luzio joining him alongside. Roxanne Lantinga back out on track. Another P4 from her earlier on. Sem van der Heijden joining on that second row of the grid. Vilma Svan and Christian Biasati going from row number 3. They'll have Natalia Granada and Matteo Giaccardi on row 4. Alan Garcia and Austin Gale go from row 5. They round out the top 10. They'll have George Nassar and Enzo Menendez going from row 6. Joseph Smith and Cahal Clark round out row 7. Hugo Besson and Luca Horton on row number 8.
Keo Lee and Morgan Knudsen will start this one on the 9th row of the grid. Carl Lutard and Charlie Gloom complete the top 20 on row 10. Fred Green and Miguel Silva start on row 11. They're ahead of Luca Muller and Nicholas Simic on row 12. Row 13, David Cosma Christopher starts alongside Torben Grøndal. Row 14, Alessandro Bigi and Thomas Van Vliet on that one. Hugo Bruin had a good race yesterday. We'll start this one from row 15. He's joined by CJ Bennett. 31 drivers due in this one, completed by Matty Vanderberg on row 16.
Well, we saw the slight hiccup there for Andy Rattel. He's currently the 4th car in this lineup. He'll have time and plenty of space to get back up into his pole position start, but I'm sure the drivers up ahead of him will make that as difficult as it possibly can be, because if they can gain another position before the race even started, that's good. But now they have to slow down, and Rattel immediately reclaims that top spot before the red line, which is good to see. Sun again is shining, air temperature is increasing. Now it is becoming a beautiful day. Like we were saying, the temperatures are set to rise to around 30 degrees today, judging by our weather apps. But again, when do we ever believe that they are correct? That is the biggest question I want to ask. Right, drivers heading down the infield straight. This is turn 12, right in front of the grandstand, prime viewing location from the field. But again, at this point, Andrew, all starting to build up. And now we're getting into that time of the weekend where we're seeing those fresh tyres coming in. We're seeing the tension starting to build, because this is the last time we could see some drivers really gain some pace.
Absolutely. It's moving time for these drivers, particularly if they're a bit further down the intermediate classification. They need to make it count.
Oh, yes.
Now into the tram lines. Eyes on those lights. Are we good for a race start? We are. Lights out, away we go. For 11 laps once again in X30 Senior. Luzio trying to get down on the inside. This is going to be the difficult bit of the start for him. Andy Rattel has got the lead. Luzio has been able to hold on to second place through turns 3 and 4. It was very tight and congested in the second half of the field once again, but all 31 drivers are on their way to turn 6.
Certainly are. Sem van der Heijden as well, holding on to 3rd place. A little late on the brakes as we go 3 wide in the background there. Big sideways moment, and that is a huge one, and that's just a concertina effect, and it's just kicked off in the background there. And unfortunately, some drivers getting caught out in that one. And that looked to me like that possibly was Torben Grøndal, maybe in the CV Performance Group kart, who has spun at turn number 7. But we'll see. No, it's the 4-1. No, it is. It's Grøndal, yeah. So, yeah, he's out of this race, and he's become his own marshal as well. Pulls it clear off the circuit, which is good to see. Race continuing. Rattel leads the way. Luzio in second place. They've broken away from Sem van der Heijden. Of course, it was from there, it was that moment there, 3rd place, that we saw that whole concertina kick for, and it's just released them, hasn't it?
It has. It's put them in a strong position in the early stages of this heat. Rattel defending 3rd place in the intermediate classification right now. If we could get this kind of result home, it would put the likes of Ruben Moyer and Clement Neutron under a little bit of pressure. Joseph Smith, you saw there in the victory lane machine, the black and white livery, the red helmet of the youngster flying the flag for Great Britain, up 9 places in the early stages of this one. Is now challenging Sem van der Heijden for 3rd place. Other big moves at the start. Luca Horton up 8. That's key, Anthony. Luca Horton did not have a good day yesterday. Raced 3 times, finished 17th, 21st and 30th. If Luca Horton is going to continue into the major races on Sunday, needs to get big results here today as Smith goes down the inside, takes third place away from Van der Heyden.
Yeah, nicely done there for Joseph Smith. This is a big confidence boost for Smith in this one. Again, he's not had the results he would have wanted so far this weekend. He has deployed a fresh set of tyres all around his car. He's not done a half and half. He's deployed the full shebang. He wants those good results, and right here, right now, he's done that. And that first lap incident at turn number 7 has helped him out quite substantially as well, with drivers going wide. But still, 10 places gained in these early stages is a good job.
You have to get a good result when you've done what Joseph Smith has decided with the strategy here.
Yeah.
If you're going to bolt those 4 tyres on, you've got to convert. It's almost like that investment versus reward and risk kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Joseph Smith is doing that. And he just saw the drivers pulling over to drivers right there. I think there's a mass of debris on the home straight into turn 1. It's thankfully before the braking zone, so it's not affecting them once they're getting on the anchors, but something to keep the drivers aware of. I think it's just a bit of dirt that may have been picked up in the early stages of this race. Warning flag for Natalia Granada in the 2.63. Natalia having a tough race out there. Has dropped 7 places and make that 9 places now into 16th place. Also now got the challenge of Thomas Van Lier and Hugo Brunner, who are both up 11 spots each into the top 20 and making progress again.
Indeed. There's a look at the tyre graphics, who's deployed new and who has got used tyres on there. Great to see the intel that we've got to us here in the commentary box, and you, the viewer at home. Rattel with the new set as well on the right-hand side of the kart. So again, he's deploying that one, and he's using that very nicely as well, because he's in the lead. Luzio, with no fresh tyres on at all, is now being caught up by Smith.
It is being caught up by Smith, as down the inside there goes the 286 of Vilma Svan. That's the Swedish driver up to 4th place. Yes, Luzio is being caught, but again, his risk that he took in this race by not putting the tyres on was being able to keep himself up in the higher reaches and have a good base of points when he cracks out his second set of tyres. And right now he's doing that. So yes, he may lose this position to Joseph Smith, whilst Joseph Smith has the tyre advantage. And down the inside right on cue goes Smith to take 2nd place. For Luzio, there's no point fighting that one.
Yeah.
That is a very quick kart in the hands of Joseph Smith right now. Could be a way of pulling back towards us. One of the Pantanos is out of the race. It's Miguel Silva from Portugal. 281 goes no further in this race. 3rd place for Luzio in this race. I think it would be a really, really good result, and would set him up nicely for the rest of the afternoon.
It certainly would. And yeah, like you said, I think you hit the nail on the head there. He's waiting, and he's got a really strong position right now. He's 3rd place. He's got a big gap between himself and Vilma Svan. And the good thing you can take away from this is that Vilma Svan is also another driver who hasn't deployed a fresh set of tyres. So Vilma Svan is in the same sort of position. Has only gained 1 position. They're 3rd and 4th. Yes, they're going to not score 0 points. They're going to gain points, which will put them down the order. I know it sounds a bit backwards, but that's how it works here. But yeah, again, they'll still put themselves in a really strong position, and then later on today, when they deploy them, they can come back at it, not having those bad results that they think they will have gotten.
Indeed, as down the inside, that's a move from 287 of George Nassar. Now, George Nassar is another one of the drivers who's got a fresh set of boots on all 4 corners. So Nassar having a strong race, and again, converting the opportunity into good points. The other thing that it does, Anthony, it just puts a little bit more pressure, especially in Marcus Luzio's shoes, on your other championship contenders, the likes of Moya, the likes of McLaughlin and you know, Carinini. What do they do with their tyres at this stage of the day? Do they deploy early to kind of bank in the good points and have their difficult race later on today? Do they stick with what would be the logical option of, again, don't deploy the tyres yet? You don't need to deploy them necessarily yet if you've had some good results on the board. But again, at the end of the season, strange things can happen in the mind of racing drivers and team organisations. We'll see how they go in due course. Another new move from George Nassar. That is Nassar up to 4th place.
Indeed, yeah, nicely done again, utilising those fresh tyres now, getting past Vilma Svan, who is on those U sets. So again, this could be another position that Luzio needs to worry about, because again, those fresh tyres will close in. Now, Rattel still leading the way. The gap's 0.8 of a second, and amazingly, Rattel on that single set of tyres, he's only deployed it on the one side, is managing to hold on the pace to Joseph Smith with his full set of tyres. So that in itself is a good run. The investments work for Smith, but you would think it's a full investment versus the half investment from Rattel, and Rattel's half investment is working better than a full.
It is. I think, again, this underlines the pace that Andy Rattel's got here this weekend that we've seen from through free practice, through timed qualifying yesterday. In these dry conditions, particularly when it's a little bit cloudy out there, Andy Rattel is a real force to be reckoned with this weekend, and they'll be hoping that it stays this way across the course of the afternoon. Aaron Garcia with a new fastest lap of the race, 55.008. Garcia in 7th place, another one of those drivers who has got 4 new tyres. There is your latest scorecard for qualifying heats. Utron from Moya, Rattel, then Kalteren, Verity and Meerschout. And of course it's only Rattel at the moment in that top 6 who is racing at this very moment. So it's a good position for Rattel because effectively he's got a race in hand over the other competitors who have still got to do their 3rd and 4th wins.
No, exactly that. Eyes on the fight further back. Anna Garcia, Sam van der Heijden still there. P6, P7 on your screens. And again, Alan Garcia is another driver who has deployed the fresh set. So again, he's pushing himself up in this order. Only 3 places gained though, so hasn't had the momentum as what the others have had at this stage. As again, blue sky shining here is the sunshine. There's Rattel leading the way. Gap is 0.7 of a second now. It's come down. Smith is closing in. Is it at a rate fast enough to warrant any troubles? I think no, because the last lap board will be coming out this time to Andy Rattel. And again, this is a really strong performance for him. He's had the 2 wins earlier on. He had the 30, he had the 2nd. He's accumulated that into another win now, and he's adding to that tally. These 0 points will be helping him out. He's 3rd in the intermediate classification. He's got his 5 points, like I was saying, from that 3rd and 2nd that he's had earlier on. But these wins now, these are the most important ones, because again, if Utron goes out again and he finishes 5th or below, then Rattel's in a good spot. So is Moya, of course, in the intermediate classification. He's only got 2 points to his name. So again, these wins are so important for Rattel right now.
Yeah, and it's continuing to boost his confidence as well here this weekend. Into turn number 12, Andy Rattel has led a very calm and collected race in this one. It's going to be his 3rd time seeing the checkered flag first here this weekend. Andy Rattel takes this one with a really good drive. Joseph Smith comes home in 2nd place. Marcus Luzio holds on to 3rd place. That could be a key finish for Marcus Luzio here this weekend. Aaron Garcia got up to 4th place on the last lap there, so got past George Nassar and also Vilma Svan. That is your top 6. Sam van der Heijden in 7th place, and it's another Dutch driver in the top 8 as well. Roxanne Lantinga scores another top 10.
Certainly does. Well, there, Andy Rattel, I'm sure that smile is getting ever bigger underneath that helmet for the Frenchman. He can be delighted with the results here so far this weekend, but we'll see him out later on today, so make sure you stay tuned for that one. The same for Joseph Smith, Luzio and Garcia, who finish out in the top 4. But they'll make their way back to Parc Ferme now. Again, this all boils down, of course, points. The championship fight is still up for grabs, but we'll keep an eye on those positions. There is a look then at your provisional classifications at the end of that one. Rattel from Smith, Luzio from Garcia, Nassar from Svan, van der Heijden from Lantinga, Horton from Besson. Then it's Letard finishing just behind. Giaccardi from Bassatti. Green from Brun, the top 15, 14 places gained for Hugo Brun. That is a superb end to his race, Andrew.
And not the first time that we've seen that from
No,
Hugo Brun
indeed.
this weekend. So another driver